Welcome to Season 4 of Creatively Speaking, Food for Thought. I'm your host, Leanna Weller-Smith, founder and executive creative director of Weller-Smith Design. In this episode, I'm thrilled to be joined with my mentor, colleague, and friend, Jen Kem. This episode was recorded live on LinkedIn and YouTube to celebrate her recently published book, Unicorn Team, and I am happy to share this recording again on the podcast. I had the opportunity to be an early reader of Unicorn Team and was part of an exclusive sneak peek of her innovative models and frameworks that she teaches in the book. To say what I learned was a game changer is an understatement. You know, when you hear something and it clicks, that is what I experienced, and I am excited to share some insights with you in this episode. Named as a top brand strategist by Forbes, Jen Kem specializes in launching innovative ideas with high-performing teams. Kem's unicorn innovation model has been used by iconic brands like the Oprah Winfrey Network, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Oracle, as well as numerous New York Times bestselling authors, keynote speakers, businesses, and thought leaders. In her book, Unicorn Team, the 9 leadership types you need to launch your big ideas with speed and success, Kem shares the innovation playbook on how to build the most collaborative, harmonious, and motivated team to achieve extraordinary results. Are you ready for results? Let's dive in. Jen, welcome to Creatively Speaking. I'm so excited to have you here. I have so many things I want us to cover. But before I dive in, I just want to tell the audience a little bit about you and I, right? We met, it's got to be at least 10 years, if not 11. So it was about 10 years ago when I first met you, was first introduced to you and the work that you do. And I've been following you ever since. So I've worked for you, you've worked for me, I've done all the things. Like, I just follow you around. I've always just admired how quickly and succinctly you could bring something to market. That's what always attracted me to you and your business model, is that you were always able to pivot when you needed to. You were able to get things out there. And if it was something that was messy in the middle, you just figured it all out. So I've always admired that. And, you actually have, this trifecta of a background. You have corporate background. You've worked with tech companies. You've worked with, the Verizons and the Oracles of the world. You've also owned your own brick and mortar business. And then on top of that, you created Master Brand Institute, which really is where I found you. And you brought programming to small business owners and entrepreneurs alike. And I've just always admired all the content that you have brought to life. And now you can also add that you are a published author. So that's so huge. Here I have my version. I got it today.
Oh, yay. Look, and you've got a highlight. You've already got Post-it notes in it. I'm excited to hear what you're already like.
I'm already here. So I'm excited that you're here if everyone can't tell. But I mean, I think that Creatively Speaking, and this season in particular, is called Food for Thought. And I think that this is the perfect time for us to be talking, because it is about different ways that an author can bring their book to life.
Yeah.
And you, my friend, have been very transparent with your road to authorship. So while I'm gushing and gushing, I just want to give you the congratulations on this baby being here, because it was a long road.
Yeah, very long, way too long for somebody who likes to bring ideas with speed and success. Yeah. I'll tell you that it really confronted all of my thinking about what it would take. And I realized that, first of all, like writing a book, and I know, Leanna, this is your work. You help so many authors bring their book ideas to life, specifically like the most beautiful, glossy, flossy books that are seen. And it is truly, and you also have a child, so you also know this. I think a book is a lot more challenging in all the ways than having a kid or having a business. And I didn't know for sure until I did it myself, because I've been behind a lot of the New York Times bestsellers and like helping them establish their entire brand ecosystem around brand and business monetization strategy around their intellectual property or their creativity, and they're really the same. But when you do it yourself, like when you go through the process yourself, you really see all the gremlins and also the excitement. And it's a very unique mission to get a book into the world. And so I just want to say, for all you listening who are authors or you're in the process, kudos, because we are a special rare breed of unicorn. I will say that.
Absolutely. So, out of all those things that I mentioned, I mean, like I said, your experience, it really spans so many different modalities. So how did you choose what this first book of yours was going to be about?
Well, what Leanna was alluding to in terms of my transparency and like my road to getting this book into the world, I took what I call like the super challenging path and didn't realize that I was making decisions that actually, again, I feel like I was born for this kind of thing, where I find where all of the dark roads are and I want to illuminate them with like, what's really happening down this road. And so even in choosing this idea first, because I have 4 master models that I operate my company Master Brand Institute around, they're around the concept of what I call brand time. So TIME, so team, identity, messaging, and experiences. And so I turned 50 last year, and I knew that this decade for me was about contribution. Like I really wanted to get out of my head the things that were helping people who were successful succeed, and then also put it in a way that I hoped could be as close to something someone could follow who didn't have access to, let's say, those resources or couldn't afford to work with somebody like me at this time because they were starting something new. And I frankly wanted to reimagine leadership at every level, including the corporate span, the everyday Main Street market where, to Leanna's point, I worked in corporate. I had a Main Street business. I had a retail brick and mortar business. I obviously am in the services / online business now. And then also, like leadership period, politics, whatever, anything that requires people to get their ideas to other people. I knew that this was the book I needed to do first. And I had to convince publishers that this was the idea to go to first, and they didn't want it. I got rejected by every single publisher, so 70 in total, because there's the big 5, and then there's all the imprints of the big 5, and there's even the hybrids, because the hybrids, even they choose you, even though you pay, right, for them to distribute your books and help develop your book concept. They didn't choose me in their roster of 10 books that they were going to publish. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, why is everybody rejecting me? And it was very, very confronting. Because also we know that publishing is a business, and rightly so. They have to be a business. And so why it also didn't make sense for me was I have a platform. Like I have, a solid platform. I have an email list of 400,000 emails. And I thought, gosh, if they're rejecting me, like who else is getting rejected? And it felt I was sad. Like I was like, why? I'm mad. And I was like, why is this idea not something they get? And here's the cool thing. What I realized was, they're not supposed to get it when you're a unicorn. They're not supposed to get it.
Yeah.
You have to be first.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be first, and you have to be stubborn. So in that way, be a donkey, be a mule, like be a stubborn mule around your ideas, because I was like, I'm not here for what's being taught. I'm here for what the future looks like. And I'm giving my futurist strategic playbook that will help people navigate and reimagine their lives and their ideas forward. And that's why they didn't get it. So I was like, okay, now I know why you don't get it. So I will go ahead and self-publish this book. And when I self-published the book, and this is, again, this is not a call out. This is a call forward.
Yeah.
But I signed a contract with Scribe, which was highly recommended to me. And I had done a lot of vetting and processing. Any idea that I have, I put through my model, which helps me make better decisions. And 2 weeks later, they claimed bankruptcy and took $40,000 of mine. So here I was like, totally rejected, 70 by the traditional.
Right. And you were all in on this. As you're like, okay, I'm doing this.
Well, I guess I'm rejected. What I started to understand is like, gee, when you have an idea and everybody's rejected, you can't go back with the idea. So I was like, I guess I'm going to have to go back to them when I have my second idea, which was about the messaging. Because that's the book they wanted to buy, Leanna. They wanted me to write a book on messaging. And I said, I will write that book. And it's going to be my second book. But I don't want to write it until people understand this concept first.
Right.
because this is the biggest obstacle that actually every single company, brand, product, thought leader, expert, anyone has. They don't know, number one, what motivates them to make their ideas happen. And number two, they don't know how to rally other people, including their part-time staff, the contractors on their team, to make it go forward. So even the word team, I'm trying to reimagine it for people. I'm like, when you think of team, the team we need going forward is not the team that used to be, not the traditional team structures that used to exist. That's why I'm writing, and I called it a team, even they're like, oh, we don't need an operations book. There are a lot of leadership books. There's a la.
Yeah.
I go, I know that. That's why I'm trying to reimagine it. And you just got to bet on me. And I promise you, if you bet on me, I'm going to win. But I get it. They didn't know me yet. I had a great resume. I have a great platform. But, sometimes like, what I also learned is like, you got to be famous in this new world. And I was like, well, that's deeply unfair. Because I feel like I'm quote unquote well known and respected in my tiny niche, right?
Yes.
And frankly, as I said, I'm behind all the famous brands that you see out there too. But it was like, oh, you don't respect the person who's actually like strategizing and the rainmaker behind all of it. That's weird.
Yeah.
And there's so many people, including Liana, your firm, your company, who develops these beautiful pieces of art in the form of books and other products and published awesomeness, like through Productology, which is one of your companies. Mm-hmm. But like that makes you a unicorn. That's not necessarily like, oh, Oprah Winfrey, but you're the person who the Oprah Winfrey or the new upcoming cookbook author is looking for, that understands their vision and then can turn it into something epic. And so I wanted to put a spotlight on all of the players that it takes to make great ideas happen. And so I know that was a long explanation, but I wanted people to understand, like, it hasn't been easy, but it has been totally worth it. Because now that I know how the sausage is made, now I can really fix it too, going forward for myself and others.
I'm so glad that you had that stick-to-itiveness with your vision on this, because, like I said earlier, we've been in each other's orbits for 10 years. I have done a lot of the master brand programs. I've done a lot of them. And while they did help me move the needle, meaning you helped me get productology out of my brain and into the world. There's, I have a quiz, I have a funnel, I have all these things, and all of that was great, but there was still no big momentum for me. But what I will say is, in May, I took my next chance of, okay, I'm going to join Guild with Jen. This is a big commitment. And it was the best thing ever, because you brought your frameworks for this to us. And I tell people whenever I talk to them about it, which is, you took us through several of the models in here. And to me, it turned into almost like a vision board. You had us put out all of our ideas, and there's a whole section in here, which is unicorn innovation model, because you took us through the visionize, strategize, and mobilize, and giving us the space to think about all these big ideas that we wanted to do. And then thinking about all the people, and this is not, like you said, this is not a team book. It can be about me and my team, my internal team, but this is about this external ecosystem that you have. And it's really tapping into that to see how you can move the needle. And since May, pretty much in my whole, all of my little diagrams that I drew and all of the people that I put into place, all of those things have come to fruition. I mean, I have had such great success from it, which is why
that excites me.
Yeah, it's why I tell people this is a game changer, because it took all those little pieces that I was putting together that felt like, okay, I'm not getting to where I need to go, but through the different models in here that you talk people through, that's how I have been able to get a lot of traction.
Well, it makes me so happy to hear. And I want to point out something that even I had to unlearn and un-F myself, basically, because in the social media and online space specifically, what has been put on a pedestal and has shown the most is what I call very tactical ways to, let's say, grow your business, build your brand, la, la, la. And I'm not saying any of that is bad or not worthy. I think some of it is. I think some people are not supposed to be out here teaching anything to anybody. But in general, even the leaders who are out there, I'd say in general, their work is pretty okay. But what wasn't put in the forefront was the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
And even, Leanna, you know this because we've known each other for now 11 years and off and on have, worked with each other, as you said. I was calling BS on that before, but I knew that if I couldn't show it in one place, this is also why the books mattered. Because it's like you can teach even a course or advise someone. But if you don't have like what I'd consider, like, this is why I call it an innovation playbook.
Yeah.
And what I mean by innovation, I'm talking about reimagination, a creativity playbook, because creativity, innovation, and reimagination are synonyms to me. They're all like us rethinking, reshaping, solving problems is what creativity allows us to do. And why I wanted you to have my end-to-end playbook. Actually, all of the things that are in this book, I have taught for 11 years. But I knew that if I didn't put it in one place, where when we're being pummeled with friction, pressure, noise, lots of marketing messages, right? But when you can have like one place to look,
Right.
so I have a new idea and I want to put it through this model. I want to just put it through the model. You'll get so good at it. You won't even need the book as much to like be a binky. It'll be more like, oh, I think like this now. I strategize better for myself now. And also like, people have been telling me that like they ordered the Audible and the hardcover and they're like, I listened to you talking to me that's narrating the book. And I'm like, oh, I can even, it's like sticking even more as you read it, Jen, in my ears. And then I read it with my eyeballs and I'm like, yes. And to your point, I just want to say one more thing about what you said is this is about all the team, the stakeholders that are part of the vision you have. So it is your internal team, like meaning use the book with your team to go, I want you to know where we're going. I want to show you. And I give you the process to show them better so that they can be better equipped to support you and you're not so disappointed when they don't do that. And then to your point, with people you want to collaborate with, like being able to have a common language and a planning process so that you are more successful together. And then obviously your audience and your clients to be able to say, like, this is the relationship we have. We're a unicorn team for each other. It really was like I needed people to see that this is the way we need to think now. Because with the triple A threat, which I call, AI, automation, and the algorithms, those are here to stay and they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
So it's even making us wonder, like, where do we belong in the equation as humans? And the only thing left for humans to do is be more creative and more innovative together.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what this is about.
Yeah. And also too, something that I've realized, and I think I mentioned this to you earlier, which is it's making my brain, it's like rewiring of my brain. Like I'm finding the end goal faster, even just because I can now see where the pieces lie. And with this book, you also created the Ulta, and that is the unicorn
leadership
assessment. And I took mine and I am just enamored with it because I'm an SV. But what's interesting is I have my visionizer and my mobilizer scores are almost the same.
Oh, that makes so much sense knowing you.
It makes so much sense. And I was like, dang, I get it now. And it also put into perspective, my clients are the visionizers. They are coming to me saying, hey, I want this big idea and how can I do it? And I say, I've got the strategy for you and I will get you from here to here. And guess what? I have a bunch of mobilizers who are going to get it done. It gives me chills to think about that because I think it allows me to express how my team can support our clients.
Yes.
And because now I have the verbiage and also knowing what each person, that's how they're wired. Yeah. And it's really it's cool to see it all come together.
Having common language and even understanding our relationship, ours as the leader of our company to all of these other players. And then it just helps us become more empowered to communicate clearly and to delegate better and to also like say no better and also say yes better. And I mean, it's just, I know it sounds like magic in like 330 pages, but it kind of is, and again, I'm the author, so I'm biased, but I really worked hard, and I hope you're seeing this, Leanna, at like making sure that it was a book that people, again, not just bought and referred, but that they read and that they used it. Like
Yes.
it is, you're using the book. That when you read the book, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I get to see all these different perspectives, because I talk about all kinds of brands in here too, of like how they use this model, even if they didn't know they were using the model, because this is obviously my intellectual property, but it's me over now almost 30 years of business experience going, when we see the people who have won, the people that were like, wow, they are winning, or their products are really making an impact, or they've actually changed the way people think or do things, right? The case studies in it and the ULTA, the Unicorn Leadership Type Assessment, basically outlines for you like, oh, I'm like Martha Stewart, for example. Like Martha Stewart, she started her claim to fame being a cookbook author, right?
Yeah,
Basically, she was a caterer.
She was a caterer, interior design, and all the things.
And I talk about how she is an MV. She's a mobilizing visionizer. So she's an M, meaning she's a doer first, and she does things in relationship to her vision. Okay. So if you're a high M in the Ulta, that means not only are you a doer and you really are motivated by accomplishment, you're also somebody who, in Martha's case, as a personal brand, is a demonstrator of her gifts, talents, and skills. She gets trust and magnetism.
Right.
And whatever you feel about Martha, it doesn't matter. She's still like a billionaire, and she's done epic things. And I will say, like, it's because she's an MV.
Yeah.
Because like to her, it was like, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a beautiful home, how to make a beautiful dish, how to make things taste good, how to be a tastemaker. Basically, that's what she was doing, is she was helping us all become tastemakers. She's an MV. And that's the other thing I love about, again, I'm a little biased, but it doesn't matter what your type is.
Right.
If you know what your type is and you are the founder and you are the leader of a team, small or large, if you understand that what your role on the team is in that energy state, for her, it's an MV. If you're a VS close M,
I'm an SV very close
M.
M. So my V is at 89 and my M is at 86.
Okay. And so
like,
what to me, your opportunity is this. Your opportunity is to talk to your client's vision. I call it meeting each other at the unicorn energy intersection. Like we're meeting like at that unicorn powers activate, right? It's like you're speaking to your authors that want to do something with you, and you're meeting them at the intersection of their vision.
Mm-hmm.
And because you are a high M2, meaning like you have all three pretty high, you know what has to get done. And that makes you credible. But the key for you in your leadership role internally, the opportunity for you internally, is that for you not to take over and call your team forward to do the M work better at a higher standard, at a level of excellence that you're able to translate because you're an S. I'm an SV as well. And S is what we are phenomenal at, is translating vision and understanding what has to get done. So again, one of our shadows though is that because of that, sometimes it's hard to delegate because we are really good at seeing the whole thing. And so that's your biggest opportunity. And that's what this book, again, helps you understand, like, oh, where I'm in atrophy and where am I actually very strong, and where can I lean into both, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I got that right away as well. Like once I got into my 51 page Ulta, and like I tell people, I'm like, this is not a personality assessment. This is deeper. Like this really explains how I am as a leader within the business and how I connect with our clients. It's just such an interesting way to now look at our business internally and externally.
I'm so glad that you saw that. But just because you're sharp and you're strategic minded. And because of that, that's what your strategic mind was looking for this work.
This was looking to this.
You're a problem solver naturally. Yes. So you were like looking for, what am I missing? Because we always going, what is the dang missing piece? This is why this publishing process, I was like, why are there so many potholes? And why is there no warning signs up before you hit the pothole? Like I have to change my tires every week. I'm blowing a tire because there's no strategy when you launch a book that's, in my mind, clear. Like now that I've really gone through it. And so that's why, to be honest with you, I didn't think that I wanted to reinvent the publishing industry, but now I'm really like fired up about it in my next thing, because I'm like really committed to being an author, right, in this next decade. And I don't want anybody to ever have to hit these potholes. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but at least you're going to know what it takes.
There was a lot of things to slog through to get to where you're at. And again,
Lord.
I'm so proud of you for making it this far and for putting this out into the world. And I truly hope that all of my friends and colleagues, I hope you all grab a copy of this because, like I said, this has really changed the way that I am doing business. And it's all happened since May. So not even in a year's time, it's really transformed the way that I see my business and the way that we work with our clients already and how we are attracting the correct other unicorns outside of the business. And one of the things you had always said was name the people, name the different connections you want to have in your orbit because, and ask people, because that also is another thing about really naming those other people that can help you bring your vision, because those are the other unicorns that you need to rally in some way, shape, or form. And somebody that you know could know them. And that's made a huge difference too. So there's all these little nuggets of how you can get from point A to point B and do it strategically, smart, efficiently. You're not just picking 10 ideas and running with all of them. You're actually looking at those 10 ideas and saying which one is really going to work.
Yeah. It just makes my heart sing to hear, like, not only just like that you're getting value, but you're seeing how, like, it's just going to make you go faster. Like, because I always tell people, like, books too, they should teach you something new, but they should also just show you where there's a gap that you just didn't know where it was missing. And now you have something to fill the putty between your own bricks that you have laid, right? You've laid the bricks. This is just really putting the so that it stays secure.
It really, 100% for me. So this was the book that gave me the light bulb aha. Like I know, like a lot of my friends will say, this book did that for them, this book. But for me, it was Unicorn Team because it really changed my perspective of even where I want to go with the business. I think I have bigger dreams now because they don't seem so hard to get to. And so
and even if they are in any kind of way, you can do it now too, right? Yeah. Have a way to navigate it.
Yeah. I can navigate all of that. So
instead of free balling it.
Exactly. So, but Jen, I know your time is precious. I want you to tell everyone where can they get the book and what cool things you have coming up.
Well, the best place to find it, and I love my indie booksellers. And so if, I'm always like, if you want to get it from an indie bookseller, please do that. I love bookstores. I am like, that's my happy place. I don't ever want them to go away. But if they don't have the book on the shelves for some reason, just go in and they can order it for you. But obviously, if you want the book right now, I would go to Amazon. It has the books in stock right now. We are actually dangerously close to sell out of the first printing of the book. That's what I heard from my publisher. So that's really exciting. So go to Amazon, get your hard copy. There's no paperback available right now. And you don't want it because actually it's like beautiful. Like
it is hardcover. Everyone that they're like, did you design it? And I'm like, unfortunately, no, but it is awesome. And then you get it and it's even prettier in person. So
yes.
It looks good on the shelf as well.
It really does. I'm not mad about it. And by the way, I got to give credit. The publisher actually was the one that did the cover. We're not used to that. Like the publisher gets it right. And I'm like, okay, good. Like we did something right over here. So go to Amazon, get the book. It would be fantastic if you got the book before. If you're listening, we are doing this on Friday, February 7th. If you can buy the book now, because this weekend is the big determination of whether or not this book could hit the New York Times bestsellers list. I think that from a sales perspective, I think we've done phenomenal. But, again, when people don't know you, and again, it's weird. People know me, but it's like the mainstream, publishers don't know any better. The big five, the behemoths, they don't know any better. But it's so funny because a lot of famous people don't sell a lot of books.
Oh, no, they don't. And
they don't.
I've been in the publishing industry for 20 plus years, and I have designed cookbooks for all the famous people, and their books don't sell because people don't buy from them.
They don't know how to sell.
Yeah. And they're there for entertainment. So it's
we could have a whole live about that.
Entertainment.
And so even I think a lot of people are surprised. Like the publishers were surprised when I said, my plan is to sell 30,000 books at least in the first 6 months of pub.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, sure. That's why we're running out of books right now, because they didn't believe that I could do even half of that. And so if you want to be, and you understand that you are a rare unicorn, a black sheep of your industry, you've always felt a little different, the good news is you are. And now is the time to rally together. And so go to Amazon, buy this book. It actually really helps if you buy this book on Amazon right now, because Amazon is the #1 bookseller. And this is how they see that consumers buy books. It really helps, because I got a lot of bulk orders, and rightly so, because a lot of people have been asking me for this book for years. But yeah, if you are in any way curious and inspired by our conversation today, please go to Amazon. And then if you also buy it today, we're having the Unicorn Team Rally, which is our last big celebration for the book launch this week. And I'm basically, especially since Leanna's audience, I know a lot of you are authors, you're content creators, you're experts. That particular 4 hours I'm going to be spending with my entire Unicorn team, including the publisher of our book at Penguin Hay House. Reed Tracy, the CEO, is going to sit down with me and tell me what's happening in publishing next, how they're picking books. We're going to sit down with my editors, my writing partners, and then my marketing team. So it's juicy, and you can only get in with a purchase one book on Amazon. So get it now so you can join us on Monday.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to end this live, because that is going to be epic on Monday. So I can't wait to see you there. And I hope I see some of my friends there too. But Jen, again, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm rooting for that bestseller status. It's already a bestseller in my eyes.
It's already a bestseller on Amazon.
Exactly.
I feel like we're going to hit a lot of lists, and that's great. But I hope the New York Times helps a woman who looks like me hit the top of the bestsellers charts, because there aren't a lot of women who get a New York Times bestseller in the business category. So let's all see it happening.
Let's see it happen. Well, thanks, Jen. Have a good night. Get some rest. You've been on fire this week, and I'll see you on Monday.
I'll see you then. Have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.